Oh my goodness, I'm reproducing my talk for Twitter. Let me just tweet that. In fact, maybe I'll take a selfie, said no millennial ever. I'm pretty tired of older generations seeing as people glued to phones and laptops, never experiencing the outside world. People are clutching their pearls and declaring that young people just don't have social skills anymore. Now, I'm not sure what they do on the internet, but my usage is nearly entirely social, as is a lot of young people's. I work with teenagers, and if they're not in a group chat playing a game, they're Snapchatting or WhatsApping actual people who they hang out with off of the internet. These are not instead of social contact, they're simply a subsidiary of. I was a lonely teenager. I didn't have many friends at school. The internet has led me to proper friendships, a network across the country, and it gave me the social life I so craved. I certainly wasn't cooped up in my room night and day getting pale and pasty. Several years ago I signed up to Twitter, and through connections I made in my student Stop the Cuts days, I came to intersectional feminism. Twitter, and more specifically the women and non-binary people of Twitter, have taught me so much about feminism, intersectionality, and how to consider as many people as possible in my views. Twitter taught me that racism is alive and well in the UK. From racial microaggressions to full-on blatant racism, women of colour are still in the firing line, and they are sharing their experience through their living words on Twitter. Twitter taught me that nothing is quite as binary as I once thought. From gender to sexuality to disability, it's all a wonderful spectrum. Some of the first non-binary people I met were on Twitter, and I've really learnt to not take people's gender or pronouns at face value. At the end of the day, it is not our job to guess how somebody identifies from their outward appearance. Twitter has taught me that being gender non-conforming is dangerous, that there is a list of transgender people who are murdered every year. It has taught me to do what I can so that we don't have to remember an ever-increasing number of trans people every Transgender Day of Remembrance. I have learnt that sexuality is fluid and fantastic, and labels only begin to cover it. I learnt that being pansexual but appearing straight is not the privilege I once thought it was. Twitter taught me to love first and worry about the label afterwards. Twitter has taught me that sex workers have a job like any other and are just trying to get by in this world just the same as I am. I've learnt that the Swedish method doesn't work, and it doesn't allow these women to make a living, and that legalisation is the way forward. Twitter has taught me that trans exclusionary radical feminists and sex worker exclusionary radical feminists exist. If your feminism doesn't include trans women and sex workers, then you do not speak for me. How dare you come into our safe spaces and invade them with your unsafe views and spread hate? I'm not sure about anybody else, but nobody is excluded from my feminism, regardless of the gender they were assigned at birth or the job they do. Twitter has taught me just how cruel the government can be. I have watched my disabled friends fight in every stage of the cuts that will affect them, using up vital energy that is just at such a premium. From ASOS assessments to High Court tribunals, disabled people just aren't being heard, and meanwhile quality of life is reduced. Twitter has taught me that my depression and anxiety are real and valid, that I wasn't just overreacting, that I was ill. It was people from Twitter who persuaded me to try medication, and so it's because of Twitter that I am as well as I am today. Twitter has taught me that as a white cis woman, it is my job to signal boost marginalised women and non-binary people, not to talk for them or over them. We can only learn by listening to those who have lived experience. Most of all, Twitter has let me meet the most wonderful women and MBs who are supportive and want the best for you. It has taught me about non-toxic female friendships, that being friends with other women shouldn't mean having to contend with bitching and jealousy. We like each other's selfies. If somebody's eye makeup looks amazing, we tell them that. If one of us needs that little bit of encouragement to apply for a job or to take that next scary step, it's always there. Twitter women are wonderful. So don't tell me to put my phone away. Don't worry about my social skills. This millennial is learning and growing and having the best relationships, online and off. Thank you, Twitter. You've changed my life.